option was available. And at the moment, we didn't receive as many texts, but afterwards, we started advertising it a little bit more on our social media, on our Facebook, Twitter, and then we started getting more texts coming in. The way I train the agents is what I do with them. I pull them off the phone. I sit with them for about an hour. We go over the whole entire system during that hour. We do some test answering, and then they go on their back to the desk, and then they are live answering tests. I would sit with them for about another hour or so, and then after that, they're on their own. And believe it or not, even though it may sound like it's a quick, harsh training, it's not, because they're able to pick it up really quickly. That's how easy it is for them to pick it up. And then we also do, if I need to change anything, then I might do like a continuous education with them. But that's basically how the training goes. You can go to the next slide, Jonathan. So after March, when we did our really soft launch, we did the launch in April of 2015. And that's when we really started advertising harder on our social media, like I said. At the end of the phone calls, we would tell people, now you have the option of texting us, and we will let them know, text us at 898-211. When we first started, we were only doing it from 9 in the morning to 6 in the evening. And then after about 6 months, we went ahead and expanded it 24/7. So we train, even though we only have one agent in the evening, that agent is trained to answer the phone calls, the chats, and the texts in the evenings. And all of our agents are able to answer up to 3 contacts, whether it's chat, 2 chats and 1 text, 2 texts and 1 chat. As long as it's an e-contact, they can answer up to 3. And they are off the phone when they are answering e-contacts. So the model that we use is not just text your zip code to 898-211. We also say text your zip code and need to 898-211. This way, as the agent receives the information of the zip code and the need, they're able to automatically start searching for the information. We also ask all of our clients, test clients, we ask them all of our demographic questions. At the beginning, we were not doing that, but eventually we started asking everybody, our e-services and our phone services, the same demographic questions. So everybody answers the same questions. It's a little bit of questions up front, but everybody answers them, which is the good thing about it. Another way that we advertised it was by putting it on home message, and that really gets it really busy, because as people are sitting on hold waiting for somebody to answer the phone, when they hear that they can text, then they start texting us and they get off the phone line and they continue the text conversation. We get a lot of people that way. We have actually a couple of months ago, they changed the on-home messaging, and they took out the message that said that you could text us at the 898-211, and so the message was not there. And for the time that the message was not there, our text service, it really dropped. So we found out that way that it made such a difference having the message on the on-home message versus not having it. So that to us was like a real eye-opener, and it's easy advertisement for the service. So for the past year or so, we are averaging about anywhere from 600 to 2,000 unique encounters, and the referral tools are really, the system is just overall really easy to use. Let me see. Do you go to the next one? Thank you, Jonathan. So this is just an example of the advertisement that we use for our social media. The picture was created by Prevention Pays, but I modified it and I added our logo and then I translated it into Spanish. And then the next one, Jonathan. And then this one is another one. Again, I just added a logo onto it, and I use it as the English version of the message. And I use this graphics on our social media, on our Facebook, Twitter pages. You can go back to the next one. Okay, so why are we using Prevention Pays? Our agents really enjoy using it. I mean, it's such an easy system to use, and it's just, like I said, they can answer up to 3 contacts on it when we get really busy, which is often. And the clients that use it, they also really enjoy it because they say that they don't have to be on hold as long as they are when they're calling the phone line, when they're coming through the text service, because the agents are able to answer multiple texts. They can be talking to multiple people at the same time. And so our callers really like, our testers really like it. Before, when we used to test our referrals we use ReferNet. So when we used to test the referrals through Refer, we had to ask for the carrier, the name of the carrier, cell phone carrier, and the cell phone number. That was very unreliable, and most of the times the text didn't go out. So we really stopped using that system. But once we switched to this other system, to Prevention Pays, we know the texts are going to go out and the people are going to get it, and they don't have to call us back and say, hey, I didn't get the text, could you send it to me again? So that was another one of the big problems that got solved by using Prevention Pays. So yeah. And now the best thing that could happen was Prevention Pays and Refer. They combine the services, and so now we can text out of Refer using Prevention Pays. So we just have to put in their cell phone number, and out it goes. And we know they're getting it because it goes out so quickly. As the person's still on the phone talking to our agents, they let us know, I got the text already. Thank you very much. For the past year or so, we have averaged about, when the person is on the phone and we ask them, how do you want to receive the referrals? We give them 3 options. So we tell them we can email it to them, we can text it to them, or they can write the information down. A lot of people, they choose for us to text the information to them. And we are averaging anywhere between 3,000 to 4,000 callers a month that ask us to text them their referrals. So that is really good. And what happens is, once we test out those referrals to the people, they know the number, they'll have the number on their cell phone, and they can then return anytime they want and start testing us if they need information again, and then we'll be able to text the information to them and record the information onto Refer. Go ahead to the next one, Jonathan. So yeah, so this is just, like I said, some of the feedback that we get from our clients and from our agents of how easy the system is to use and how much they like to use it. And we get our quotes because we do surveys for our clients at the end of the text. Go ahead, Jonathan. So after 2 years, like I said, that we've been using Prevention Pays, when we first started, we didn't have to add any additional staff to this to get this going. The same agents that we had answering the phone are the same ones that we have texting and answering our e-services. So we didn't have to add anybody at all. the platform, it integrated with our system really well, really easy. It's web based, so there's no downloads, there's nothing that you have to install or anything like that. And it's up and running all the time. I don't remember ever having a problem with it going down or anything like that. And if there's any problems, Jonathan is always there. So yes, and then we can also create our automated features. It has some automated features. We're not fully taking advantage of them, but we will very soon. And we do use cam phrases a lot. We have about, I want to say, over 60 cam phrases, different cam phrases that we use. Go ahead, Jonathan. Okay, so yeah, so testing is super popular. People like it. We get, like I said, we are averaging on a monthly basis. We average over 900 new text requests coming in, and again, our agents really like it. It's quick and easy. The average length of one of our texts is about 10 minutes, but because, again, our agents are able to answer more than one, so it works out. Next one, Jonathan. So this is the new functionalities that have come out. Again, at this time, we're not using all of them, but we are using some of them. So we are using the, let me see. We are using the functionality that is connected to refer, so that we can send our text out of refer, and then very soon we're going to be using the functionality where once the text comes in, we'll be able to automatically have it so the questions start going out to the person before the agent comes in to start answering the text. So the person, they won't even know that they're not talking to an agent. We're going to have the questions phrased so that it feels like they're talking to a person, that is not a robot or a machine talking to them, but it's going to be automatic. So, and also we are hoping to be able to get set up soon with the follow-up, with the automatic follow-up, so that if we need to follow up with somebody, whether it's on the phone or a phone call or from a text service, we'll be able to schedule a follow-up, and the testing system is going to do the follow-up for us, and then we're just going to get all the answers and do the data exporting. And reports are, Jonathan and Mike are always coming in with new reports that are always so helpful. So we don't have any complaints on that either. Let's see. Go ahead, Jonathan. So this one is about the announcement from United Way Worldwide about the new services through PreventionPace. You want to talk about that, Jonathan?
Oh, sure. So in December 2016, United Way Worldwide announced 898-211 as the national text number. And the 211s using the service are now approaching 50%. And what's happening is it's going to be opening up doors to new funding channels. One of those is a pilot project with the National Defense. So that pilot project is a funded grant that is through the National Defense and will attempt to enable individuals who feel or believe that there might be somebody in their proximity or in their family or friends or social group that might be expressing extreme violence or thinking about extreme violence. So responding to the extremist sort of, and it's a very sensitive topic. It's a very sensitive subject. And so with the research that's happened with testing, that people, when dealing with sensitive topics will sometimes be more comfortable divulging that information through text when it's through text. So building on that research, the grant and the work will look to see if text will help these people report their suspicions in a way that they feel more private, that they're able to do so in a way that they feel more secure doing it. And then the pilot project will include 2 sites. Atlanta was selected as one of those, and they will evaluate it for 1 to 2 years. And then based on that evaluation, the intention is to roll out to other 211, so utilizing the 211 network that's already in place to help with the response to this need that the government anticipates will be a ongoing and increasing need. And this marks one of the first times that 211 was chosen for a government grant that specifically uses texting as the primary channel to connecting with the public. And this also opens doors to additional funding opportunities, alerts, regional, community level alerts for government agencies like HHS, HRSA, CDC. All of those types of projects become more readily available and possible with the support of a nationally recognized Tier 1 short code. And 898-211 offers that. It supports all carriers, so there are no gray areas. Everybody can send a text to 898-211, so complete coverage across all carriers. And that is an important thing, an important attribute. And so the new funding opportunities are happening at a regional level, right? Agencies getting additional funding to support texting projects in their region, but also at the national level. All right, so I'm going to switch slides.
Yes. And just one quick note on that. We are just getting started on it, so there's not a lot of information that I have about it just yet.
Right, you guys have just had like a site inspection or something like that, I think,
yes.
with the team, yeah. Okay.
So on this slide, I wanted to let you guys know we also have participated with 2 other partners, the American Cancer Society and Emory University here, into to help them recruit individuals to participate in different studies that they have done. So for the Cancer Society, they wanted us to recruit about 400 or so participants for their 4C project. And what that project was, they wanted to see if people if the people that contacted 211 were also going to see the doctor on a regular basis, and were they having their annual exams performed. So through text, when somebody would contact us, at the end, we would ask them, we would let them know that we were having this survey, that we had this survey, and that they had the option, they were chosen to, we would do a random. So we would ask them, we let them know about the survey, and we would ask them, would you like to participate? If they say yes, then we would send them the link to the questionnaire for the American Cancer Society, and if they went in and filled it out, then they were enrolled in the study, and the American Cancer Society will follow up with them and have additional questions for them, and then they would get a gift card for that. And we were able to get this accomplished in a 6-month period. They wanted to do it in about a month, in about a year, but it only took us half the time. We did it in 6 months. Right now, we are also doing the one with Emory University. So this one was a 2-tier survey. The first one was to recruit people to work on, to be part of a focus group to see if the materials that they had for the study were good, if it was understandable for the public. So we recruited for that part of the study, we recruited 15 people. and it only took us like 2 days to do it. And that was only because they told us, please slow down. And then, so now, yesterday, as a matter of fact, we started recruiting for the actual study. And that would be 100 people that we're going to recruit. And again, when they test us with their need, we'll provide them the referrals, everything. We'll go through the motions, and then at the end, we'll let them know this study, Emory University is doing this study, and we want to know if you've been chosen, randomly chosen, to see if you want to participate. If they say yes, then we'll ask them some questions. We'll record the information and send it to Emory. Emory University will contact the person, and then we just they'll take it from there. So those are the other 2 ways that we are also using our prevention PACE system. Okay, Jonathan. So that's my information. If you want to contact me even after the webinar, I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Yeah, so you can write in your questions. If you'd like to, you can write in your questions, and the Marioli is available to respond to any questions that you have. And I think somebody had mentioned that the audio, their audio was problematic. I believe, is everybody, I'm wondering if the audio is having trouble with others as well, if others are experiencing that. If you are experiencing any audio problems, could you please write in and let us know? Okay, so what size is your call center? Please write in your questions. Thank you. So the first question, Marieli, is what size is your call center or your contact center?
We have about 24 agents, and all of them are trained to answer text.
Okay. Okay, how many agents do you have at your contact center, and how many calls are you taking?
Again, we have about 24 agents, and all of them are trained to answer text. And as far as phone calls, we answer about, I think about 16,000 phone calls a month. But text, we answer about, I think the most that we have answered is about 2,000, and the least is about 1,000. So anywhere between 1,000 and 2,000 texts a month.
Yeah, and just to update, guys, there are no audio problems on this side. You may have to unmute yours. There was one individual who had written in about possible audio problems. So apparently we've confirmed that there are no issues. So I just wanted to update on that. We're going to continue with the questions. Okay, going through the questions. Do you use the same metrics for live calls as you do for the two-way text encounters with regard to the Q&A? So do you use the same metrics for live calls? So, I guess this would exclude the phone to text referrals, so texting callers referrals. This would be the live two-way conversations by text. And are the metrics that you do with phone calls the same as what you're doing with the text?
Okay, I'm not sure when you mean metrics. Are you talking about?
I guess like how you measure an encounter, or how. Yeah, I guess maybe that would be, yeah, like the
Okay,
the
so
length
each encounter,
of
okay,
Go
I'm going to
ahead.
answer it generic. So
Okay.
each encounter we counted as one, and everything is recorded in our reference system. So we count it as one. It doesn't matter how many back and forth texts we send. It's one encounter. The length for that, as far as for quality, maybe that's what the question is. Then yes, we have quality standards on it. They are very similar to the phone calls, the ones that we have on our text, because we look for them to make sure that they're following the flow of the text, that they're using the cam phrases. If they need to type, which they are allowed to type, but when they do, when we tell them you cannot have misspells, you cannot have emojis, you cannot have abbreviations. So all of that is looked on when we're looking on the text that they answer. Mm-hmm.
And just to add to that, and that, by the way, that question was from Rosanna Guerra. And to add to that, so there's a report called the Encounters Report, which is an important report in the system. It's kind of like your call report in that what you get is you get a report that has an Excel spreadsheet with the phone number of the individual who contacted you, the responder who took the case, and then the number of incoming messages, the number of outgoing messages, the duration. So not the number of messages, but the duration of the encounter in minutes an hour or minutes hours, and then the status of it. Has it been closed? Has it been resolved? And so, much like your call report, you're looking at encounters, and those encounters can, as Marielle was saying, they can fluctuate depending on the complexity of the case. Do you, Marielle, just as a follow-up, because I think we get this question quite a lot, is do you find that you're moving between mediums ever, or is the text encounters staying text encounters?
No, the text encounters, they remain text. And yeah, and the phone call, sometimes we could have a caller on the phone. We'll test them the referrals because that's how they chose to have the referrals delivered to them. And then a few days later, like I said, I think I mentioned before, they'll test us back asking questions, and then they will turn into a test encounter from being a phone call. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then how does PreventionPay easily set up with any phone system? Do you need to have a specific vendor? Is PreventionPay a separate application you use? And while you are on in a call or in the call, I guess the question is what is PreventionPay? I guess that would be the question. How are your agents having these text conversations?
Oh, okay. So PreventionPay is a website where we all log in, and when the person sends the text from their phone, it comes to this website, and from there, then the agent has the conversation. It goes to the person as a text messages on their phone, but to us, we are on a website logged in, answering text from there. And the information that we gather from the conversation through the text, we record everything in Refer.
All right. And what is your service coverage area? This is from Heather Conger.
We cover 13 counties in the Metro Atlanta area, which right now it comes out to be a little bit over 6 million people. And we also answer after hours calls for other 211.
Thank you. Okay, let me see here. Okay, have you surveyed local agencies about their perceived accuracy of referrals from 211 before or after texting was offered? from Christina McEwen?
I have not, but if there's anything that's inaccurate, the agencies call us. I mean, we have a pretty good relationship with the agencies, even though there's so many. They do call us and they let us know, they email us, and they let us know. They call 211 too. So.
Excellent. And this is from Aaron Garcia. When you say the staff were all trained in texting, what does that include? Was there any training to work on tone? I know with email and text, people put their own tone of voice on it. Do you run into any customer service issues like that?
We do not, because everybody's trained on using the canned phrases. And like I said, we have about over 60 canned phrases, and it actually follows the flow of the phone call. And yes, the agent is able to type if they need to, because there's a box where you can type if the canned phrase is not there, or they're able to edit the canned phrase before they send it out. But we try to have them to limit them on how much they need to be typing. That's why I have so many canned phrases, because we want everybody, and the tone of voice that, when I created the canned phrases, the tone of voice that I use, it doesn't seem robotic. It seems like it's a person actually talking to you.
And let me add to that. So the canned phrases are automatic messages that you have to use, right? And so when you're in a conversation on the web service and you're texting with the client, they're on their phone, they're sending text, and the agent is on a computer workstation. And they have, of course, tools available to them to help them with their conversations. So the canned messages are like libraries of messages that you use all the time in conversations. Mm-hmm. And with the system, you can set up as many canned message libraries as you need. Each canned library can have as many messages as you need. And so there's ways, of course, to make the canned messages help with the conversation so much that you're limiting the number or the amount of hand typing that somebody has to do, which is really important. And so we've seen agents set up canned libraries that are issue specific, where, just for food service, these are the canned messages that we're going to use, or just for interview assistance, these are the canned messages that we're going to use. So there's just a lot of different ways you can set up the system to be synergistic with the way you provide live help. Do you have anything to add? Because that was a really good question. Do you have anything to add to that? All these questions are excellent. Do you have anything to add to that, Mary?
The only thing I wanted to add to that was that, like when we are doing the recruiting for Emory and the Cancer Society, I created library canned phrases specifically just for those surveys. So when we were finished with the surveys, it was easy for me to just deactivate the whole library or the canned phrases.
Right.
Instead of keeping them on the live system that they always use. And right. I also have them in Spanish. So I have a Spanish library of canned phrases for them. If they have a Spanish speaker, then they can always switch to the Spanish library and then start selecting their Spanish canned phrases.
Right, and so those libraries are just little pull-down menus, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
yes.
The user interface, right? Okay, and then the next question is, what measures do you follow to ensure confidentiality or privacy? For example, confidentiality information release acknowledgement prior to the conversation, and do you provide transcripts of conversations to your inquirers?
For the text messages, we do not provide transcripts. We only do that for the chats. And as far as confidentiality, we don't have anything we just let them know that this is a confidential information, and we don't have any identity of anybody. We only have a phone number. We don't have anybody identify themselves to us. And if we needed to, we tell them, is it okay to call you at the number that you texted me from, and then we'll call them if we need anything more as far as identifying them. But otherwise, every text, every phone call, every chat for us is anonymous. So it really, the confidentiality is there, but it's not like we're not going to share their information with anybody, and we let them know that. And we also let them know not to text and drive.
Right, not to text and drive, exactly.
That's right.
And exactly, and I mean, that's an obvious potential issue is texting and driving, and that's a really good point.
Yeah,
and
that is our first camp phrase that goes out.
Yeah, that's excellent. And there's also part of the opt-in is letting them know that they can opt out and cancel messages at any time by texting stop, quit, or unsubscribe. So that's part of the reason for why short code, a 6-digit number, is used. All carriers are supporting so complete coverage, but also end-user privacy according to CTIA and FCC guidelines. So an end user has that right, just as they have the right to hang up the phone conversation, they have the right to hang up the text conversation or end it, and then not get any more follow-up messages after that. And that's what end user privacy and texting is all about, being able to stop those messages at any time. Thank you very much. And some of you have asked for screenshots of the user interface. You can set up a demo, or you can, by going to provincialpaystext.com, you can set up a demo, and you can have your agency go through, no charge, what the user interface looks like, how it's going to apply, how you would use it, all of that. So check out the website, and then also check out the contact page where you can pick a demo or select a demo. Okay, the next one is, just a second here. Sorry, Marielle, just a second.
All right. It's okay.
Okay. And I hope we answered the question about end-user private confidentiality. The same rules apply. And and the website itself that stores all of the information is according to HIPAA guidelines. So it's in a Tier 3 data center. All servers are in Tier 3 co-located data centers and stored according to HIPAA guidelines, so they exceed the actual guidelines that are required in that and for those environments. And then all of the conversations are between you and the agency. Okay, and the next one is the program compatible with other CRMs, including iCarol or including VisionLink? Does the agency have to convert referrals to short form? So that might be more of a question for us, Marioli. And I will go ahead and reply to that one. The service is compatible with all CRMs. In fact, all CRMs have committed to integrating. And so you'll have to check with your CRM on where they are at. We have already integrated with 2. So there's, and all the others have agreed. So check with your particular CRM provider on where they're at with that. All API documentations are available for consumption. Do you provide texting for other languages other than Spanish and English?
We do not.
Okay. Do you get requests in other languages?
No, we haven't, and we get very little in Spanish.
Very little in Spanish. Okay. All right. Okay, so another question. How significant of a problem are unfinished text conversations? So I'm just going through the list of, of questions here. How significant of a problem are unfinished text conversations? Is there a time limit before you end the conversation and ask the inquirer to call, or can text conversations go on for an unlimited amount of time?
Okay, so what we do with our text conversations, there is a limit. From the beginning, once the agent answers, one of the command phrases that they send at the beginning is to let the person know that they can ask for 2 needs during the conversation, and if they take too long to answer our questions, we would end the conversation.